All right, let's just jump straight into this explainer. We're looking at how literally anyone can take a simple idea and turn it into a fully animated cartoon, just by tapping into the AI tools we have in 2026. You know, those days of needing a massive budget or a specialized studio just to get a visual story off the ground? They are totally behind us. Today, we're breaking down exactly how you can capitalize on this massive shift.
Now you're probably wondering, is it actually possible to make a high-quality animation if I haven't spent years learning to draw? Or maybe your artistic skills top out at, well, slightly lopsided stick figures, right? Historically, animation was this huge barrier. You had to learn incredibly complex software, draw everything frame by frame, or hire a whole team of pros to bring a script to life. But as we're going to see in this explainer, the tech has hit this amazing tipping point. Now your imagination is literally your only limit.
So, to really answer that, here's our agenda for today. 1. The new animation landscape. 2. Choosing the right tool. 3. The AI generation workflow. 4. Prompting and cinematic control. And finally, 5. The human-led future. Okay, kicking things off with Section 1, the new animation landscape. From weeks of work to mere minutes. What's really wild to me is just how broad the whole definition of cartoon animation has become. We are definitely not just talking about Saturday morning cartoons anymore. The landscape is huge now. It ranges from those traditional character-driven scenes with lip-synced presenters, using tools like Vyond, all the way over to platforms like Notify. And Notify is crazy because it actually lets you grab a simple PDF, a Google Doc, or a Notion page, and it just instantly converts it into a fully narrated motion graphic explainer. So figuring out what flavor of animation you actually need is your crucial first step here. Moving right along to Section 2, choosing the right tool, finding your creative superpower. The way these tools are categorized perfectly captures the massive showdown happening in the software world right now. On one hand, you've got these super versatile all-in-one platforms. Think OpenArt and Novi AI. They handle the whole shebang, everything from your initial script all the way to generating highly consistent characters. Then you've got the specialized powerhouses. Runway Gen 4.5 gives you this incredible director-level camera control with stuff like Motion Brush. In Kling 3.0, it's basically the undisputed king of physics right now, rendering gravity and complex fluids flawlessly. Oh, and for corporate or educational teams, explainer tools like Powtoon and Nullify are your best bet because they prioritize pure speed and clear communication over that cinematic flair. Now, to give you an idea of the sheer scale of what these niche tools can pull off, just think about this number, 50. There's a highly specialized platform called MagicLight.ai, and it can generate up to 50-minute-long videos tailored specifically for kids' educational content. It totally automates the voiceovers, the subtitles, and, most importantly, character consistency across that entire runtime. Something like that would have traditionally taken a small studio literally months to assemble. But contrast that massive timeline with this number, 60. OpenAI's Sora model is dominating the high-end market right now by generating up to 60 seconds of incredibly complex, physics-accurate cinematic footage, all from a single prompt. It essentially acts like a full-blown 3D physics engine, intrinsically understanding how objects exist in physical space. Now, the catch here is that access is still heavily restricted, and it's super compute intensive. But man, it absolutely shows the peak of visual fidelity in 2026. All right, Section 3, the AI generation workflow. From blank page to final cut. So if you're looking to build a cartoon totally from scratch, here is your magic 4-step sequence. Step 1, you plot out the script in your scene prompts using a tool like ChatGPT. Step 2, you generate consistent base images for those scenes. Models like Nano Banana Pro inside OpenArt are just fantastic for this. Step 3, you bring that motion to life using a video model like Kling or Runway. And finally, Step 4, you stitch the whole thing together and add in your Foley sound effects and voiceovers using 11 Labs. It is such a brilliant, streamlined pipeline. But of course, it all starts with a solid foundation. When you're feeding your idea into a script generator, you really have to be intentional. You always want to make sure you're defining a clear hero that the audience can actually root for, a villain for them to overcome, and then break the action down into simple, bite-sized scenes. Oh, and a quick pro tip, especially if you're building an explainer, always write for the ears, not just the eyes. Keep that narrative arc crystal clear. Now, the absolute holy grail of AI video in 2026 is character consistency. We all remember when your protagonist would look entirely different from one shot to the next, right? But the seamless continuity we have today is just mind-blowing. Platforms now let you lock your hero's design firmly in place.
By using features like OpenArt's OmniReference, you just upload your base character and the AI keeps their outfit, their face, and their proportions perfectly identical, whether they're vaulting over a brick wall or just sitting quietly at a desk. Moving into Section 4, Prompting and Cinematic Control, Directing the AI. If you want professional results, you absolutely have to change the way you prompt. Don't just describe what's happening. You need to describe scenes like a cinematographer. Start using terms like dolly out, pan left, or shallow depth of field. And here's a huge takeaway. Almost all of these AI video tools perform miles better when you use image to video. Always try to start with a source image to give the AI a firm visual anchor, rather than relying on pure text to build a scene from thin air. You also have to plan around what we call the 5-second reality. Basically, most of these models excel at generating these beautiful 3 to 5 second bursts of motion. But if you want to create a longer scene without the animation slowly degrading into some terrifying morphing mess, you have to stitch those clips seamlessly. A really fantastic trick for this is grabbing the very last frame of your previous clip and using that exact frame as the starting image for your next generation prompt. It creates a flawless, totally continuous transition. Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, the human-led future, AI as a creative partner. I absolutely love this perspective. This quote from Babalu P. George. He's the global head of CG and pipeline at Tunes Media Group. It perfectly anchors where we are right now. He points out that AI is really just an accelerator for the heavy lifting of pre-production. Things like basic motion, backgrounds, and layout exploration. But the soul, that exaggerated performance, the storytelling, and the true emotional resonance of the narrative, that remains entirely 100% human-driven. Ultimately, this tech is acting as your creative partner. It's essentially a co-director that empowers educators, marketers, and storytellers to completely bypass those old technical bottlenecks. You don't have to let a great idea die in a notebook anymore just because you don't know how to use complex rigging software. AI is simply here to bring your inner worlds to life, way faster than before. So, we've covered the tools, the workflows, the prompts, and the overall philosophy of animation in 2026. The tech has finally just stepped out of the way of the creative process. The bottleneck isn't your budget anymore, and it sure isn't your technical skill. Now that you've got the exact roadmap to animate your ideas from a blank page right to a final cut, what fascinating story are you going to tell the world next?